What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel where we take fantasy very seriously around these parts. DMendy here with another video, and of course, no intro video because as we are closing in on that 1K mark on YouTube, have to remake the intro so we don't get copyright infringement. So we are diving right in and getting down to business today. And by getting down to business, we got to talk about a very important subject. And we are right in the middle of training camps and preseason games. It's the time we all as football fans love and crave. And what we're talking about today is the Atlanta Falcons handcuffs, because we know handcuffs are very valuable in fantasy football. And if we can identify the right handcuff for the player that we draft, then ultimately it can help us win our league, right? And when we're talking about a handcuff, we can't first not mention who the starter is actually going to be. And after bouncing around the NFL as a backup running back for the past 5 years, Mike Davis is finally going to get that opportunity to lead this backfield, more or less as the unquestioned starter in Atlanta. He's likely to be an average at worst player, probably going to outperform his price tag. His skills as a pass blocker and receiver also give him some added value. And ultimately, I wouldn't expect a Pro Bowl season out of him, but I'm also expecting he's going to get hurt because Mike Davis has never had a full season's workload. I'm questioning if his body's going to hold up to the job. So if he goes down, who are you picking up to be that backup running back for the Atlanta Falcons? So we've got 3 candidates here. We've got Cordarrelle Patterson, of course, the journeyman. Of course, he's was once considered a fantasy darling. And then we have 2 more unknowns, Quadri Allison and Javian Hawkins, the rookie. So we got to start off here talking first about Cordarrelle Patterson, who, let's be honest, he's, again, everybody's talked about him, signed him to a 1-year, $3 million deal this offseason. And he's a 4-time All-Pro kick returner. And obviously, he's going to help elevate the Falcons special teams. He's going to spend some time at wide receiver and running back, of course, for them. And I would obviously expect, since he's being listed here, of course, he's going to see some time at the running back position and help just boost the Atlanta Falcons offense in general. So he's 6'2", 220, 9-year pro. 2020 stats, he had 64 carries for 232 yards at 3.6 yards per carry, and he had 1 rushing touchdown. Now, he's appeared in 127 games, 36 starts in his career, 216 receptions for 2,087 yards and 10 touchdowns, and has had 167 carries for 1,017 yards and 6.1 average and 8 touchdowns overall in his offensive career. Now, looking at some of the strengths that he has, he's an elite kick returner with an incredible and consistent production in that area. He's got great open field vision, and the ability with ball in space is special. Obviously, that's why he's been an elite kick returner for so long. He's got very good long speed, agility, explosiveness, and contact balance. He's got reliable hands and strong ball tracking ability downfield. Obviously, he's going to be used as a pass catcher, which we talked about, not just running the ball. He's got really good size at 6'2", 230. It's very difficult to bring down in the open field. And as we mentioned, he's got the versatility, which is going to help boost the offense. When looking at his weaknesses, though, he lacks consistent reps in any single role. Outside of kick returner, as the expression goes, a jack of all trades, master of none. He also doesn't have the same patience and vision he displays at kick returner when he usually is at running back, particularly between the tackles. And he's usually utilized sparingly at wide receiver with a limited route tree. So if he goes out wide, he's most likely not going to be running very intricate routes. And obviously, as you've seen, he was an inconsistent rusher when given significant volume last year at 3.6 yards per carry, with the most carries he's had in his career in one season at 64. Let's look at the next candidate we also have here, Quadri Allison, who's running back, wearing the number 30, 6'1", 232. He's a 3-year pro. He's got 23 career carries for 53 yards at 2.3 yards per carry and 4 touchdowns. He's been the forgotten man in the backfield over the past 2 seasons, but with Arthur Smith taking over the team, expects to hopefully be a nice boost for Ollison. He's got a build and skill set that match nicely with the type of running backs that he's coveted, and he's got a strong chance to potentially push Mike Davis as that backup, as he's had a strong camp and hopefully might have a strong preseason. He's getting work with the first team at OTAs right now, and that kind of could hint that he could be headed in that direction. Now, when we look into him a little bit more, as we talked about, doesn't have a lot of volume. He's only actually had 1 carry for 3 yards in 2020. So that was all he got as far as rushing. But throughout camp, he's worked with the first and second units, and he's working with a trainer who's helped Ollison. Ultimately, he didn't have a burst in his profile. He was very much of a power back, but lacked that significant burst until he kind of got into the second level here. But he's worked with his low heel track or low heel trajectory instead of his heels coming up to his butt, as he wanted to stay closer to the ground, similar to how spinners come off their blocks. And he wanted Allison to keep his feet low so they could return to the ground and force and create more force ultimately. And that's been occurring so far in camp, as he's been highlighted all throughout training camp here. So far in his career, he's shown strengths as far as power and size, tends to bounce off defenders when lowering his shoulder. He displays good contact balance and maintains active legs when meeting defenders. As we talked about, once he reaches that second level of defenses, he displays a nice amount of burst and runs and shows that second gear. The problem was he needs that quick 4-step burst, and that's what he's been working on with his trainer. He also displays plenty of patience to allow blocks to develop, kind of Le'Veon Bell-esque, whether it's inside or outside zone runs. So with that comes his weaknesses. He does not have that elusiveness and agility. He's also got stiffness in his hips and lacks change of direction and of skills, aka he's more of a straight line runner. Catching ability is average at best, and he seems to lack the proper mechanics and pass protection, especially against a pass rush where he seems to lunge more at the blockers rather than staying home and staying in his block. So he's got some work he needs to do in that area as well. We then get to the last guy in this backfield, and that's the rookie Javian Hawkins, who arguably the most exciting UDFA addition that Falcons have in 2021, which is really saying something, obviously. But obviously, with all the questions here, why could it not be Hawkins, who has a tremendous talent, fills a niche that they don't have? He's an electric one-cut runner, has home run ability every single time he touches the ball. He's a really good receiver, actually better than most would suggest. And he's, again, also one of those guys that's looked good in camp, and we can see how he does in preseason to see if he can get a significant role in the offense. Now, we look into his profile, again, 5'9", 195, so he's not a big back. College, in his last year over at Louisville, he had 133 carries for 822 yards, which is over 6 yards a carry, and 7 touchdowns. So when looking at Jvn Hawkins, a 2-year starter at Louisville, he's put up over 2,300 rushing yards in just 21 starts and was one of the most accomplished backs in the country despite limited reps entering the league after his redshirt sophomore year. He's an explosive, dynamic athlete that makes up for his size and deficiencies with the set athleticism that he has. There is no doubt that this guy is probably the best athlete in the Atlanta Falcons backfield. So we look at some strengths that he does have. He's got long speed. He's got burst and acceleration. He has got elusiveness. He's got hands, and he's actually a better pass protector than most would actually realize, as he's not looking to run away from the folks when he lets them come at him, and he holds down his blocks. Again, for someone that size, you would think that's going to be a problem, but no, he's capable in a pinch if you need him to do that. He also isn't as much as you think, where he's scared to run at people when he's running the ball. He actually likes to run at you. He's slippery enough to run through arm tacklers who cannot wrangle him to the ground. And again, that one cut ability is really good when he gets inside in the middle of the line when he's making his cuts there. But then, of course, we obviously get to his weaknesses, which some things that he will have to work on. He doesn't have the best vision. That's one of the things he's going to get used to at the NFL level. He's going to have to make sure that he sees the holes as they open up better. His contact balance isn't very good. When he gets hit, he goes down pretty easily, so he's going to have to learn how to do better when he gets hit. And he has ball security. He's got to get a lot better, as actually he fumbled the ball three times in 8 games. So this obviously something that needs to get shored up to earn a regular rotation spot in the NFL. But I'm very excited about Jvn Hawkins. So we ultimately get to, as we get serious with you guys here, which running back should you be taking? Well, in the day, I really like what Cordarrelle Patterson brings to the Falcons, both on the special teams and offensive end. He's going to be a boon to the return game, and he's going to make a significant difference in games this season. I don't think he's going to be used enough as a runner to where he's going to be the guy that you want as your running back. I think he's going to be used as a gadget player, some wide receiver, some running back, some special teams. I don't think he's the handcuff that you're going to want to Mike Davis if he were to go down. I think his role is going to be carved out as somebody that's going to be just an overall contributor on offense. That brings us to Quadri Allison and Jvn Hawkins. Now, Allison is right now the talk. Again, as we said earlier, he brings that physical style to the Falcons running back groups. and he could have that lead back material that they're looking for, someone that can take a pounding. But the one thing I will note is he was a 5th-round pick with the old coaching staff. So I would not necessarily have huge expectations for him. I think he's somebody that could be some of the Falcons use at the end of the game to carry the rock when they have a lead, just to take some meaningless work if they're trying to run out the clock. I don't see that explosive type of back that you want in this offense as far as somebody that's going to be a game changer at the position. I see him ultimately as someone that maybe gives you 10 to 15 carries but isn't very efficient with them. The running back that intrigues me the most is Javian Hawkins, who's, again, we talked about his dynamic athleticism, the pass-catching upside. Teams are going to want to add speed, and the Falcons obviously have a great wide zone offense that they use. I think the former Louisville star is going to be the running back that you want in this backfield, Mr. Jvn Hawkins. I think he's going to be the one with the most upside. Obviously, maybe when they get close, they don't use him for short line packages, but short goal line packages. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for upside, which we're chasing at the end of our fantasy football drafts, Jvn Hawkins, I think, is going to have the most impact in terms of being able to catch the ball on 3rd downs. If he's electric and learns how to read holes in the NFL, he's got that ability for that home run ability type of speed and making plays. For me, it goes Javian Hawkins, Quadri Allison, and then Cordarrelle Patterson. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your order would be. If you agree, please make sure you leave a clapping hands emoji, pat me on the back. Anything in the comments to help boost the YouTube algorithm is greatly appreciated from each and every single one of you. And if you're enjoying the content at Triple Play Fantasy, please make sure you smash that subscribe button, as we got more great stuff just like this coming. And if there's anything in particular you would like to see, let us know in those comments. Again, we love reading the feedback from all you guys. But of course, I'm DMendy, and until the next one, I'll catch you guys